Tonight's DJ and TV show is sponsored in part by Electro Voice, DJ Event Planner, ADJ, NLFX Professional, Promo Only, and DJ and TV Insiders.
Well, first of all, welcome to Wedding Chat with Dave Ternier and
Jeremy Brech and
Travis. Our special guest this evening, everybody, from Washington, Travis Engelhardt. Welcome.
Oh, God.
All of the questions that we have, all of the pressing questions, they're all going to be in your lap, and you're just going to answer everything for us tonight. So where do babies come from?
I'll tell you about Jeremy. It's summer, as I'm sure it is for you in South Dakota, not North Dakota.
It's it's like spring here right now. We're getting like torrential downpour.
Oh no, it's not spring here. It's today it was I did the conversion here, 48. It was a little over 80 degrees here today.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I saw 91 earlier.
Oh, crazy. Nice.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm dressed cash, wearing my Mark Willis photography hat. Shout out to Mark Willis. Because I was going to be live from my backyard, sitting around the fire, actually.
Yeah.
Because that's where you find me working in the evenings in the summertime. I pull my laptop out there.
But in Canada, you have to be in your house to actually get internet.
Apparently.
All right. Well, yeah, we actually, I had to jet early so I could make this call. And then, like I said, just kind of prep. Me and the family are heading to Disney tomorrow morning.
Nice.
And I look forward to writing my DJ news article about my experience and, you know, how it relates to what we do in the entertainment world and the special effects and lighting world of things. But, yeah, so I'm not casual. I like literally walked through the door in my house and said, hi, good night, kids. I will see you in the morning. And I ran out here to get on the chat. So,
and the kids are pumped about Disney.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh
yeah.
Man, it's ridiculous. It's not ridiculous. It's exciting because they're excited about it.
Mm.
And you know, if we're going to kind of wedding chat around, you know, that excitement, even though it's like it's the same thing, you know, oh yeah, it's just another trip. It's just another trip to them. This is like the world, and it's the same thing when you talk about weddings. This is like the bride and groom's Disney World trip. You know, it's their one opportunity. They're spending thousands of dollars.
Right.
And you look at, you know, when you go to Disney, you don't just like, let's go to Disney tomorrow. I mean, it's like we've been saving for 5 years for this trip.
Yeah.
And you know, waiting and just kind of planning and like I said, it's no different than a wedding.
Mm-hmm.
So they're extremely excited. We're excited too, but yeah, I don't know how much I'm going to sleep tonight.
You know, there is a neat wedding tie into this in that there was an article some years ago, and I'm sure this article has been rewritten and rehashed many, many times, but you know, what are the things in life that make us happy the most, right? Is it buying things, or is it buying us, or is it purchasing experiences? And time again, it's purchasing experiences. But why it is the purchase of experiences that rates so high is actually the most curious element. The reason purchasing experiences provides the most happiness is because of all of the excitement leading up to the experience.
Right, yeah.
Right? The experience itself sure is fine. But I mean, you know, similar to you, when you said saving up for 5 years, we're, you know, a little over 3 years into saving up for a trip to Australia for my wife and I and the family, right? And I mean, it's exciting every time we think about it. So are we buying an experience that's going to last us 3 weeks? No. We've purchased an experience that's been lasting us 3 years already and will continue to last us more. And I love that tie into weddings because I had a conversation with father of the groom at my wedding this past weekend. And he said, wow, Dave, he's like, you know, the kids were just so happy with you, like before the wedding even came about. And, you know, I think that dovetails really nicely into this. You know, we have the opportunity, I believe, to completely thrill and over deliver fully for what they've already paid before the wedding day even comes. And he said to me, by the time wedding day arrives, your job is like, it's not over, but most of the work is done, isn't it? And I smiled at him and I said, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. All the work happens before the wedding. The results are happening during the wedding.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, dovetailing into that whole topic of, what we look forward to and what we value most long-term, this might sound stupid, but I think what most of my couples take away from me is the experience leading up to, not to say my performance sucks or something like that, but I think that's one of the reasons for my, the word of mouth that continues to power me this day, and obviously powers Disney.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of a really cool thing that you're talking about, how the bride and groom and there's kind of that excitement for the parents involved in it too. And I love going to weddings, and I always kind of make a joke of it. They're like, "Oh, we've heard so much about you." Yep. And it's like, gosh, I'm sorry. You kind of play around with it.
That's my line.
No.
Word for word. I kid you not. Okay, go on.
Anyways, so when they come up, again, that shows you that the bride and groom have been talking about you for so long, and they know that even though the parents look at that investment and they're like, oh my gosh, why would I spend this much? Yeah. And then all of a sudden they experience it, and then you have a father of the bride who is a very budget conscious lawyer, and he comes up to you at the event and he's like, I get it. He's like, I completely understand why you are how much you are, and the kids were right about you. You were the best decision they had for this wedding. And again, it's exciting. It's not that ego boost. It's just exciting that the bride and groom have been sharing this information. Like, oh my gosh, we're so excited. Our DJ and this and that and everything. You just know that you're doing your job even before they actually see you on stage.
Yeah,
so that's cool.
Yeah, 100%. No, very cool. And when you accomplish that too, I find, I don't know if you have this experience or not, but it allows mistakes to happen at the wedding that are completely forgivable.
Yeah.
Because all you're doing now is just adding icing to the experience they've already had with you. And so, you're I don't know, I find more flexibility and more forgiveness is not the right word, but I can make huge mistakes at weddings. And because of the rapport I've already built with the people, yep. a DJ that just showed up that night would get bad reviews on Facebook because of that mistake, but they won't even mention it to me after the wedding when I ask them for critical what didn't work. And it allows you to turn things and make snap decisions on a dime, change things around.
Let's make that our chat tonight. Are you able to see the Facebook and YouTube feeds or anything?
You know what? We're not live tonight. This is a group chat. So
okay, so let's do this. And Travis, we're not going to make you start, but let's talk about a situation that went wrong and how you reacted to that situation, how you fixed that situation. How does that sound? Does that sound good?
Travis is in. I'm sure he is. I'm connected with his mind right now.
What do you think, Travis?
Sure.
All right,
that sounds good.
We'll let Dave go first, though.
Oh God, hot seat. Oh my God. So specify one more time for me.
Okay, so think of a situation that you quote unquote screwed up, and then how did you recoup from that situation, or how did you fix the situation?
Trying to find an example worthy of this show. Let's see, what did I screw up this past weekend? Oh, I screwed up. So I screwed up something 3 weekends ago. Spectacular couple, really neat families, lots to celebrate. Gotten over cancer, the bride had, whole 9 yards. Just really, really emotionally powerful event. Wow. They have 3 children. And so for their cake cutting, we opted to have the cake sitting in front of the head table, and they wanted to involve their children in the cake cutting. To, kids, this is not only, your mom and dad, so on and so forth, but they also want to invite the 3 of you up. They're going to feed you a piece of cake. These are the people who are going to look after you. These are the people who, you can always trust them. We created a really nice ceremony out of it. But of course, what did I do? I ignored my checklist when I should never ignore my checklist before an event like the cake cutting, and I didn't check for cake plates.
Oh, yeah.
So how did I recover from that? Well, I mean, I guess the honest truth is I didn't fully, but we had fun with the fact that, oh, this is what feeding the kids must be like some days, yada, 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 as, you know, they're picking up pieces of cake and just pushing it into the mouths of their kids. So, you know, it was funny after the fact, I stopped by their house about a week later just for a quick hello and what have you. And they said, hey, we're going to fill out your review form. For sure, Dave, don't worry about that. We haven't done that yet, but we will. And I said, no worries. I said, I want you to be critical because that's how I grow. And I said, I really just want to say I feel really, really bad for, and I mentioned what I just shared here. And they're like, oh yeah, we forgot all about that.
Yeah, it really doesn't even, it's really not even a situation to them.
Right, yeah.
They don't know what would have happened if it went right.
Right, exactly, yeah. So yeah, that was, I don't know if that quite fits your example, but have you got something, or Travis, have you got something you want to share in that regard?
Yeah, I suppose I got one. 3 weeks ago, I think it was, I had a wedding, and the groom's parents were divorced, and the dad had a girlfriend, and I'd asked my couple ahead of time, like, because we were doing, with bridal party introductions, we were going to introduce the parents as well, as part of they were actually going to come in with the wedding party and the bride and the groom. And I'd asked them ahead of time, if to confirm who was going to be coming in, who was going to be introduced, and specifically asked about the girlfriend. Oh no, she's not going to be part of the introduction. It'll just be the mom separate and the dad separate. I go, okay, got it. So literally at the last second, they tell me as I'm going to do introductions, oh yeah, so and so, whatever the mom's or the dad's girlfriend's name was, is we want to introduce her too. Okay, great. I'm like, I specifically asked that question before because I knew that was gonna, anyway. She was there, she was standing right there, so, and I didn't have her name in any of my notes because I had no need to introduce her, so she wasn't, and I didn't have a pen with me. That was the big thing. And so they were the second or third ones that were getting introduced, and completely blanked on her name, which they had. I'm horrible with names. And so I always have a pen, but I never have it with me. So that I didn't really recover from that one specifically, other than I just walked back over and confirmed what her name was before I finished the introduction. It was kind of a weird interruption. The couple didn't even mention it or anything after the fact, but that was my lesson, that I now need to make sure I have a pen in my pocket all the time, and to make sure that I have better notes of who all the people are, even if they're not necessarily in my quote unquote script, to have it somewhere else in my hand so that I know.
There we go. Yeah, very smart. Very smart.
Very cool.
Jer, you're next, buddy.
My turn. All right. So one that, and I know this, actually I can give you two stories. I'll tell you first about a love story that I did. A couple years back, I was doing a love story, and I was really good friends with the bride's sister, who actually, I did their wedding a couple years before that. And I was doing their love story, and I'm going through their love story. And the stupid thing is, like, I really kind of focus on what I'm saying when I'm reading my scripts. But for some reason, I was connecting the wrong names when I got to certain parts in the story. And so I was like, Tyler and Rebecca, they're like, Tyler and, Rebecca, Jenny. They're like, it's Jenny. I kept saying Rebecca. I did it twice in the same love story, in the same paragraph. They're like, it's Jenny. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I played along with it. Everything was cool with it. But that was just one of those mistakes. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so stupid. It doesn't even say Rebecca in my script.
Really?
Yeah. Because I was looking at her. I mean, they look alike. They're not like dead on twins, but they resemble each other really well. And so, like I said, I'm kind of watching their reactions, and and all of a sudden I got the wrong name stuck in my head. It was the weirdest thing. It was like, I don't know. I really don't know what happened. But just goes to show you that no matter if you have the script right there in front of you or whatever, your mind can sometimes. I would say my worst scenario was was I was doing an introduction for bride and groom's first dance, and it was my cousin's wedding. I introduce my cousin, and I say, "Ladies and gentlemen," how did I say it? "Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome out Chad and blank, blank, blank." I could not think of her name. I'm sitting there staring right at her, and I'm like, her name is Erin, but I just couldn't get it out. So it was like Chad and his beautiful bride for their first dance. So again, I don't know if I don't think anybody really noticed it like I noticed it, but now every single piece of paper that I have that I use in my scripts, whether it's a song list, whether it's the agenda, whatever it is, every single piece of paper that I'm going to touch has the bride and groom's full names and their last name. So if I have to, it's not typed, it's handwritten, which looks completely different than all my other script.
So you handwrite their name on every piece of paper?
Handwrite it, yes. I don't type it on there. Yeah.
Wow.
Because then it looks completely different. I don't have to glance. I don't have to look. It's just right there.
Interesting. See, I ensure their name is at the top of every page of everything. I just put their name in the header of my document so that it auto just appears on everything. And it's funny though, I mean, maybe the difference for me is I don't use, so I print out the scripts for everything, have them in a binder ready to go, but those are just my backup. I actually perform everything reading, referencing from my computer.
Right. Yep.
So you know, their name, as I'm sliding down the pages, their name comes up in big 18 font or whatever it is I have set for in my header. So, you know, if I am blanking for some reason, I just have to slide a little bit and their name will pop up. So interesting. Okay. Travis, you seem to have something maybe to share on this matter.
Oh no, I was just saying that was a really good idea. I've just started using scripting, and that putting their names at the top of every paper. There was actually an idea that I got from one of the guys that was in PhDJ when I took that over the summer. He takes a piece of masking tape, and right on the bottom of his laptop screen, between, you know, right below the screen, he'll put his couple's name on the piece of masking tape. So every time he looks at his laptop, he's got his couple's name right there in case he has that brain fart moment where he blanks on it. Because we all know we've all done that.
Right. You know, that does remind me. Now this was many years ago. I want to say 10, 12 years ago. I'm introducing first dance. I said, "Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Dustin and," I don't remember her name now. Anyway, Dustin and, let's just call her Amy for now. Dustin and Amy. That wasn't her first name. Somehow.
Like, who's this Amy chick?
Somehow, after the first dance, I said, "Once again, everybody," I said their names, and someone shouted out, "Jessica," or I don't know, whatever her name was. And I'm like, "Jessica, that's right." For some unknown reason, the name I had introduced her by was her middle name. No idea how I got that. It was bizarre. Anyway.
You know, I think the moral to all of this is, like you said, you have to build that rapport with people, and then there's a lot more forgiveness.
Huge.
It starts from the sales meeting, and it goes all the way until, you know, the last dance, where you just have to be more than just an employee, or more than just a vendor or a professional. You have to be a friend to them, and you gain that trust, you gain that respect, and then you have nothing to lose.
Yeah, very true, very true. And I think the worst thing, now some of the theater people and such are going to probably drag me over the coals for saying this, but I think in our world, if there is a way to acknowledge the mistake in the moment, that's worth far more than pretending it never happened.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the guy who everybody else knows in the room goes, oh, wow, he screwed up, but he has no idea. I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
You know, what was it, yesterday during a planning session? I said something, I don't remember what it was now. And she corrected me humorously. And I looked at her and smiled. That's what I said. Acknowledging that obviously I didn't, right? But we just turned into a fun moment because who cares? So I think acknowledging it is huge.
You know, so my personality as an MC, I'm very playful with the crowd. I'm very playful at the wedding party with the couple. We joke around a lot. I mean, there's times like if there's an embarrassing toast or speech, you know, I kind of like play around or I joke around with it. Like, wow, that was interesting. You know, I put myself in that position as if I'm having fun with them. I don't want it to be like an awkward situation just happened during a toast and speech and be like, okay, let's go to the next person. You know, I kind of play around with that. So again, if I do make mistakes, me with my personality that I've been using the entire evening, to them it's just like, oh, he meant to do that, or oh, that's, you know, he's having fun with us.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's that building trust, but it's also reacting in the moment and recouping from that moment. And I think that's extremely important. Everybody has to do that, whether you're doing a job interview, whether you are a DJ, whether you are a photographer, a videographer, a pastor. My pastor during my ceremony, when I got married, so you know Sarah's not a very emotional person. This is my wife I'm talking about. She's not a very emotional person, but she came up the aisle with her dad, walked down the aisle. This is the first time we'd seen each other. We didn't see each other beforehand. And I mean, like my suit was, or my tux was like 3 times too small, it felt like. I couldn't breathe. And I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. This is one of the best moments of my life, watching this happen, you know, my beautiful bride coming up. And she's in tears. And again, her not being an emotional person got me choked up. And, you know, I didn't cry, but it was like, oh man, you know, this is a really cool moment. And, you know, she was tense. She was, you know, she's like, oh, you know, you could just kind of tell that she wasn't relaxed at that moment. And our pastor starts, you know, he starts doing his thing. And then he says, Sarah, do you take this woman to be your wife? And at that point, they kind of lost it. They're laughing about it. But Sarah was like, you know, she laughed and she goes, and afterwards she was like, I'm glad that happened because it made me relax.
Broke the ice.
Yeah. She's like, otherwise it was just I was so tense and, you know, so caught up in everything. And she said that moment of laughter made me relax. And the fact that, you know, he kind of made a little joke about it. He goes, let's try that again, you know? So those being in the moment, those improv moments are extremely important to success.
Now, do you believe that there's any chance that the pastor recognized what was happening with her and did that on purpose?
No?
Because that would have been amazing. If you think about it, right?
Yeah, he was embarrassed.
Was he? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Because I'm now thinking about that going, if I ever officiate a wedding and I see a bride in that situation, I'm going to use that. It's like, seriously, I'll take on the shame and embarrassment. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, he came up to us afterwards and apologized. We're like, and that's when Sarah was like, oh my gosh, I'm kind of glad that happened. He goes, it's like, no, I'm serious. I'm just so sorry. You know, he was very, very apologetic, but
right.
Yeah, like I said, it's swinging with the punches.
Yeah. You know, geez, I got to stop thinking about it. So as I think about this more, I think how I would do it, I would do it stone-faced, have everybody laugh, and then go, okay, maybe I did that to make you giggle. Now, we good to go? You know, I would probably do something like, again, acknowledge the mistake. Don't just bowl over it, but maybe even acknowledge that it was maybe by design, but people might not know entirely. Anyway, I think I need to get into officiating weddings. We weren't going to talk about that, though. No, I'm not doing that.
Oh man, we'll talk about it in July.
Okay. I literally just got an email from one of my couples for next year, 2019 in August. And they're like, Dave, we're having a hard time finding a marriage commissioner that we click with. I'm like, that's a sign.
So, Travis, have you ever officiated a wedding?
Oh, no.
No? No, you don't want to do it?
No, I don't think I could handle that kind of pressure, which sounds funny, but I don't know. Maybe that makes sense.
What? Tell me the difference in the pressure and what you do as a DJ and MC and what you would have to do as an officiant.
I don't know. I feel like as an officiant, well, first of all eyes are on you. I don't want all the eyes on me. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say that. That doesn't sound right at all. Maybe people aren't paying attention to the. I don't know. I as a DJ, I pay attention to the officiant when I'm watching a wedding. So, maybe that's just me, kind of. I don't have the word for it. Projecting that, but I don't know. I feel like there's a pressure to be perfect, and I don't know. I feel like that there's more pressure on the ceremony than there is on the reception.
Oh, Travis, I'm gonna drill you. I'll let you finish. I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
I'm walking down a path I don't like. I don't know.
Travis is like, I'm never joining one of these live calls again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just here to watch. Anyway, no, I don't know. Go ahead and drill me, I guess.
Okay, so here's what I want you to think about. When you get up to do a welcome, do you grab everybody's attention in that moment?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. When you are in that moment, are you giving direction and are you hoping that you are commanding enough for those people to care about what's going on?
Yes.
Okay. When you are introducing a first dance for a husband and a wife, how important is that moment?
Oh, vitally important.
Okay. So why is that any different than reading through a script and officiating a wedding?
Yeah, I don't know. I think you got me there. I guess for me is I feel that the ceremony is such a small piece of the day time-wise that if you screw something up in the ceremony, you screwed up like a huge part of the ceremony. Where if you mess a little part of the reception up, you have for it. Like if you screw something up in the ceremony, I don't know. Honestly, I've never thought about officiating a ceremony.
So Travis, I'm going to take your side here, Travis. I think you're right. I think there's a lot riding on a ceremony because in a reception, you screw something up, you got 3, 4, 5, 6 hours to redeem yourself, right? You screw something up at a ceremony, you're chopped liver, possibly.
Right.
And I mean, and there's also, I guess, the vitally important legal aspect of what it is you're officiating. You know, there's nothing legal about what's happening at a reception. A reception is purely optional. A reception is a luxury. The ceremony is not. The ceremony is actually why everybody came.
I don't know if that's exactly why everybody came.
And
sorry. Without the ceremony, nobody would have come.
Unless it was a destination wedding and they're still having a reception when they got back home.
Well, yes, but if somebody's not getting married, nobody's coming to the wedding. Generally speaking.
I get what you're trying to say. Yeah.
I can understand where you're coming from because so I got ordained online, you know, the www.com online ordainment, whatever it was. And the reason I did it is because it's like, well, what happens if the officiant on the way to the park gets hit by a car or gets sick last minute? Who's going to jump in and fill in? So I'm like, I'll fill in, you know, it's no different. It's public speaking. I do it every single weekend. And then I had a bride and groom, just like you were talking about, Dave. They're like, oh my gosh, we can't find a justice of the peace that we like or a pastor that will do it or that we really connect with. And they found out that I was ordained and they're like, would you do our ceremony? Like, oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't know if I can do that. But I'm like, let me think on it. And I did that first ceremony and I'm like, this is fun. The thing that made it fun was they're right. we connected with each other so well, and it was no different than if I was doing a love story and then just making them talk in the middle of what was going on. So, Travis, have you taken the love story workshop, Mark Farrell?
No.
Okay, I'd recommend it because it does it allows you to put feeling into what you're talking about. It helps you put emotion into your script writing and into your scripts. And I mean, also, it's just the love story in general is a very beautiful thing. But I think the thing that people are afraid of is, like you said, they're afraid of that attention, but it really is no different than presenting a love story. It's just all you're doing is like Dave said, and like you said, Travis, is you have formalities that you have to follow within that love story. There are certain key things that have to happen. There are vows that have to happen, an exchanging of rings that have to happen. But if you have that script in front of you, it really isn't that difficult.
Right.
So I would encourage everybody who's watching this show or who will be watching this show, watch an officiant sometime and look to see how much they're reading their script. Not maybe like a pastor who actually knows the couple, but just the justice of the peace. And the fact that you actually are going to know the couple as opposed to a justice of the peace or, someone that they just hired because they found out that they were ordained. See how much they actually connect with the bride and groom. And the fact that as you're building building that reception, you're going to realize that, gosh, I could do their ceremony because we do connect. And I do feel like I'm a part of their lives. You'd be a lot more valuable and you'd be a lot more valuable to that couple. And it would also, again, it would kind of give you the upper hand when you talk to people and they're like, oh, we're looking for a wedding DJ. I'm like, awesome. Where's your ceremony? Well, ceremony's out here. Awesome. You already have the officiant everything lined up? No. Well, I can take care of that. So it does give you the ace in your pocket. But there's, again, the best thing I love about it is the personal connection that I build with my couples even more than I do reception.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Well, closing thoughts, gentlemen. We're about 6-7 months away from our time. What are we doing for the rest of the summer, Jeremy? People just need to kind of tune in to see what the schedule's going to be like. I know both you and I have an awfully busy couple of months coming up, but I think John's got us roped into a few things.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about what you got going on for the summer. Travis, what do you got going on for the rest of the summer here?
Oh, well, my full-time job plus, let's see, I just booked another one. So I've got, I think, 8 weddings left between now and September,
Okay.
which is good because it was so thick. So I just added a couple more
Nice.
sort of kind of last minute ones. So filled up my July, August, and September pretty decently.
Very cool.
Good. Yeah, it's the same for me. The summer is exactly as it should be for me. Getting to take a week, 10 days off in July, which I did for the first time last year, and holy God, it was amazing. So really pumped to be doing that again this year. But yeah, aside from that break, it's kind of go until end of September. And that's when things chill a little bit again, literally, because I'm in Canada, but that's also when work slows down a little bit, at least when you're in my field of specialty. But I have so much going on with the National DJ Association here in Canada, and just I seem to fill my hours pretty easily between all that and the wonderful family who, really pumped to be spending some summertime with. So
that's awesome. Yeah. And I talked to you last week, and it sounds like you guys have some really great things going on up there, which I'm excited to hear about as they're progressing. We'll talk about those on the show as we keep going.
with the association. Yeah. Some fun stuff happening. Yeah.
So great job on that. You guys really have done a fantastic job. You have a great committee up there in Canada, and
we do.
So good for you guys.
Yeah, we have a great team. They are amazing, every single one of them. Oh.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Cool.
Travis, are you running out of gas?
No, he popped his seatbelt off.
Oh, thought he was running out of gas.
So you probably hear the noise, the seatbelt chime in the background.
So yeah, we leave for Disney tomorrow, and then I come back. We celebrate 4th of July, Independence Day. I've got some time where I'm just going to spend with the family. I didn't book anything. I didn't even book my guys over that time frame. A couple of my guys do have some stuff that weekend after, but I didn't want to think about anything. I didn't want to worry about anything. So I'm going to spend some time with family for the 4th at the lake, and then I fly out to New York to go do a lighting job. So I'll be out there that week after that, and then I go out to LA for a conference, and then come back for a really rejuvenating week with friends and the wife and everything. And then we pick up in August again. I mean, July is a little bit slower than all of our other months, which is, like I said, it's good because I've got a lot on the plate.
Yeah.
But from there, it's just going out there and doing our thing. We've got a really good fall ahead of us, so a lot of excitement going on, and I'm happy to share as we kind of progress with that. But
beautiful. Right on. Well, it's great seeing you tonight, my friend. Travis, great seeing you as well.
Thanks, Travis. He's at Costco now.
He's at Costco. All right. Good night, everyone. I'm Dave.
I'm Jeremy. We'll see you later.
Good night.